Hey, what's going on? This is Ricco, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm here, baby. I can't believe I'm saying welcome to my YouTube channel. Charlie. I wanted to make a recap video. I'm fresh off the plane, from Vegas, fresh off the jet. It's not really a jet, but fresh off the plane and back here in my home here in Houston, Texas. And I went to Wealthcon, Ryan Pineda's Wealthcon. So I wanted to make a video. I wanted to give you value. So if you weren't able to go, I got some good stuff in here. I bought this notebook specifically for Wealthcon from HEB, and I filled it up. There's so many notes in here. So I want to go over my overall feedback from the event, my takeaways from the speaker, give you some value in case you were missing out. Maybe there might be some good stuff in here that I can give you that you can use in your business. So I'm going to give you some value, talk about some connections I made, and just overall feedback from the event. But before we start, I want to explain why I went to the event. Okay, so up to this point, I've been self-educated in real estate. I've just been honestly mainly on YouTube University, right? Looking up on YouTube, how do you do this? How do you do that? And then, implementing everything trial and error. So I've kind of been against spending money on people's conferences, events, and coaching because it's like, dude, why do I need that for? I'm just gonna go online, type it in, I can learn myself, right? And I wanted to change that. I was just curious. I wanted to see what this was all about. Going into it, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was skeptical, but I was skeptical. I was like, you know what am I gonna get out of this event that I can't get on YouTube or Instagram, right? I was skeptical, but was it worth it? Hey, you gotta wait till the end of the video and I'll tell you if it's worth it. So you gotta stay tuned in. All right. So overall, overall feedback of the event is honestly community. Community was awesome, right? Everybody was, bought into the movement, Ryan's movement. Everybody was feeling good. They were just networking, and you could just tell, just people were, it felt like everybody was a family, right? And I'm sure that's by design, right? These guys are pretty smart, but I felt like I was part of the family. I didn't know any of these people, right? But everybody was feeling good. Hey, what's going on? What do you do? And I was meeting people next to me, and you know, catching people in the bathroom, and I was like, hey, what's going on? What do you do? What do you do? I do this. What do you do? You know what I mean? So that was pretty cool. It felt like a community. I think that was like my main overarching takeaway outside of the stuff that's in this book. My overall takeaway was the community aspect. So that was pretty cool. But let's go right in here and dive into some of my notes I had. Maybe you can use some of this stuff as well. So one of the first things, so Ryan was one of the first speakers, and he's been saying this for a long time on his social media pages, on his podcast or whatever. Use social media. That's what he said. Use social media. And honestly, that's something else I was reluctant to do. So I was reluctant to go to conferences and pay for these events. And I was also reluctant to use social media. You know what I mean? I don't want to get on here and be another one of those gurus, another one of those people, like and subscribe and, click below. But, here I am. But it makes sense because it's like, if you think about any company out there, what do they have? They have TV ads, they have radio ads. Obviously nowadays they have social media, but they're promoting, right? And what's crazy is the first business I had, the first brand I had, I was a DJ. This was back when MySpace was around. So I made a MySpace page. My DJ name was Mixmaster Suave. And man, I put it everywhere. Everywhere. I had hats, I had shirts, I had mixed CDs. I was passing them out in the clubs. I was putting my stuff out everywhere, right? But for some reason, when it comes to this, I'm like, nah, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to put it out there. And I'm going to change that. So get ready. There's going to be a wave. All right. So I'm not going to keep quiet about this stuff no more. So use social media. That was my main takeaway from from Ryan's first talk. And then this guy was pretty good. I've never heard about this guy. He was a successful high school basketball coach. Now he's a motivational speaker. He has his greatness factories that he's building. And his name is Coach Michael Burt. This guy's pretty good. My main takeaway from his speech was actually my favorite quote from the whole event. All right, this is what he said. Confidence is the memory of success. Confidence is the memory of success. That's awesome. And I actually caught him in the hallway, and I was like, how do you maintain your confidence, right? Because as an entrepreneur, you have so many ups and downs, right? Sometimes things are going really good. You're feeling like you're on top of the world. But then sometimes it feels like, man, nothing can go right? I don't know if I can do this. I can't figure this out. And he talked about, I asked him, I was like, hey, how do you maintain your confidence? And he said to me, repetition. I was like, huh. And he's right. Repetition. You got to keep practicing it. It's no different than when you're playing sports. What are you doing when you're practicing your frames in football, or you're practicing basketball or baseball? You're doing reps after reps after reps. And it's no different with this. So that's something that I'm going to be doing as well, because sometimes things are going really good. Man, you're feeling good. You feel like a king, man. You're like, damn, man, everything's going good. Or if you're a girl, you feel like a queen. Everything's going great. And then something goes wrong. You're like, oh, man, you can't do that. You got to have the memory of the success you had in the past so you can maintain that confidence. So I love that quote. Confidence is the memory of success. That was pretty good. So Brian Davila, I liked his speech as well. He's one of the partners with Ryan and with a Wealthy Investor. And my main takeaway from this guy, and I actually told him this, to me he's the goal setting guy. This guy talked about setting goals, and you might be thinking, oh, that's nothing new, right? Setting goals. But how many of you, and be honest, how many of you actually write the goals down? You write them down and say, look, I want to do this by this time, right? How many people actually write the goals down? Actual goal setting, not just, oh, you have goals? Yeah, I have goals. Okay, where are they? What were your goals in 2023? Did you reach your goals in 2023? I can tell you, I didn't write down my goals. I had them in my head, right? But I didn't actually write them down, define them. So that's something I want to be doing this year. And actually, it's on my list. I have my goals written out, but I got to finalize them. So, and these are also professional goals and personal goals, not just in business, right? One of my goals here, I'll give you one of my goals. It's under the health category. Is I want to be able to get a six pack. You know what I'm saying? I've never had a six pack in my life. Hey, I've been in the gym. We're gonna try it out. We're gonna see. Summer 2024, here we come. That's one of my goals this year. I want to be able to take my shirt off, go on the beach, and be like that with a six pack. So we'll see if I can hit that goal. But I guess it's on record now, right? So now I have to hit it. But yeah, my biggest takeaway from Brian Davila is goal setting. Make sure you're setting your goals. So if you haven't set your goals for 2024, it's not too late. Make sure you do that. But write them down though. We all have, you can put it on a notebook, but we all have the notes app on our phone. Go in there, write it down. 2024 goals, boom. This is my health goal. Boom. This is my goal for my career, my business. Boom. This is my goal. I want to go on 2 trips or whatever it is, right? Write it down. Set your goals. All right. And this guy, I caught this guy one-on-one as well. Gary Harper, he's a business coach. He's a consultant. I think he said he started like 67 businesses and he only has like 12 today or 20 today, or only 12 or 20 were successful, something like that, which is the nature of business, right? If you're an entrepreneur, you know exactly what that means. But Gary Harper was awesome. He talked about a lot of different things you can do for your business. He went way too fast, which is not his fault. He only has a certain amount of time to talk. But I was trying to get everything down. I was taking pictures of his slides. But one of the things that stood out to me from him was the following. All right. So don't expect to have A players on your team if you are a C plus player. That's powerful, right? So if you have a company, right, and you're trying to attract the best talent, but you suck, guess what? Nobody wants to work for you. Nobody wants to be on your team, right? Think about it. Who, if you look at sports, like football, look at Tom Brady. He always attracted the best wide receivers, right? LeBron James attracting the best talent. You know, you have to be an A player if you want to attract A players. If you suck or you're just kind of laid back, like, maybe I'll work today. Maybe I'll do this today. No one's going to want to work for you. And the people who do want to work for you are going to be the same way or worse, right? So the team's going to be average and the company's going to be average. So that one really stood out to me. If you want to attract A plus players, or he said, don't expect to have A plus players on your team if you are a C plus player. That's important. You got to be on top of your game. You want the best people around you, you got to be on top of your game. All right. And then something else he talked about was building culture. Something I haven't done in my company that I'm going to be doing, and I'm already working on it. Building culture in my company. And actually, I caught Gary in the bathroom. Right. I was like, I was going to the bathroom. It's kind of awkward, right? But I was going to the bathroom like that, and I went like that. I was like, and it just kind of slipped out. I was like, Gary? He's like, yeah. So he was right there. But I mean, honestly, like when you catch these guys at these events, you catch them when you catch them. You know what I mean? I mean, these guys aren't doing one-on-ones with everybody. There's 1,000 people at this event. They're not going to be like, oh yeah, we're going to do a one-on-one with everybody. So I'm the kind of person that's like, when you get your opportunity, go for it. I got my opportunity in the bathroom. So while I was washing my hands and everything, I asked him a couple questions and he answered them. So, and I wrote those down. But Gary Harper, that guy's awesome. And, as successful as he is and how many years he's been in business, one of the things I noticed is he talked to me like a normal human being. He's got no idea who I am, right? And I'm not saying I'm anybody. I'm just a small real estate guy, right? But I'm saying like he was humble, right? He talked to me normal. He's answered my questions, and that was really cool. So I'm not gonna go through every single speaker. Some of these guys, like this dude, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but he was pretty boring. Jaspering Sighing, or I don't know. This guy was pretty boring. The crowd was almost like falling asleep with this guy. But yeah, I'm not gonna go through every single speaker. I just wanted to give a couple pieces of takeaways that I had. This guy was really good. Justin Berry. He's one of the main coaches for Wealthy Creator, one of Ryan's companies to help you build your social media. And he came out right in the beginning and he said the following. He said, would you follow you? I was like, whoa. Would you follow you? And I'm not going to lie. I went to my Instagram page. I opened it. I was like, no. I mean, to myself, I was looking at it. I was like, I probably wouldn't follow me, right? If you go to my Instagram page now I just got started, right? But if you go to my Instagram page now, there's barely any posts. It's kind of hard to tell, what does this guy do, right? It just looks really, really new. I have like 100 and I think we'll actually gained a few followers, but I got like 136 followers, something like that. So at the time, right now, I wouldn't follow me, but I'm looking at it, I'm like, I gotta change up some things. So that's crazy. So if you're looking to build your social media and maybe you have more posts than me, I think I have like, I don't know, 10 or 15 posts. I just kind of started it. But if you have more posts than me or whatever, just go to your page and ask yourself, would you follow you? And, maybe you have to make some changes. So that was a big one that stood out. And I caught him one-on-one as well. I saw him kind of like on the side. And I was like, hey, my name is Ricco. I know you're the social media guy. And I asked him, I was like, is there a certain amount of posts you should be making per day to be able to, grow your following and everything like that? And he was like, no, there's not really a certain amount of posts you should be making per day. But one of the things he stood out to me that is very difficult for me to do, right? But he said this. He said, you got to be vulnerable. And I was like, oh, man. Like, I don't like that. And what he's saying is like, people go through things in life, right? And it's not just about like sentimental things, but just be vulnerable. Be able to connect with people, and that's gonna be a hard one for me, but I'll work on it. That's one of the main things he said that stood out to me when we were one on one. He said talk about being vulnerable. But like I said, would you follow you is like the most powerful, like that's an indication if you're doing good on your page or not. Would you follow you? So ask yourself that. Um, this next one, she's pretty good. She's a doctor focused on muscle medicine. She works with a bunch of CEOs and works with their mental health and their fitness and everything like that. And the thing that stood out to me about her, Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, was she talked about having a neutral mind. She said, as high as you're gonna go is as low as you're gonna go. I was like, huh. She said, don't celebrate the wins too crazy, right? Just keep it chill, tranquilo. See, you know what I mean? Don't celebrate too crazy. So, and I actually had a question too about her with her because she said she was talking to the CEO, working with the CEO, and he talked about playing loud music to pump himself up. And she said you shouldn't do that too much. So I had a question for her because something I do when I go to the gym is I get in the car, I put my music on, I blast my corridos tumbados, my reggaeton, vámonos. I play freaking loud to pump me up. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to ask her. I didn't catch her one on one. I wanted to ask her like, should I not be doing that? I mean, you know what I mean? And I actually messaged her on Instagram, and she got back to me, and she said I should flip a coin. And she talked about that on stage too. She's like, intermittent stimulus, not too much coffee, not too much loud music, these things that kind of make you really, really happy and really, really, pumped up. You want to kind of like balance that. So basically what she was telling me is, look, flip a coin. So now what I'm going to do on the way to the gym is flip a coin. If it's heads, I'm playing my music, man. But if it's tails, calmado, just chill, try to keep a neutral mind. So that's one of the things that stood out to me about her, Gabrielle Lyon. And then some of these other people went into a bunch of other stuff like creative financing, and one guy was talking about, or a couple of guys were talking about buying businesses. So it wasn't even real estate related. It was more like buying businesses and flipping businesses, which was really, really cool. But it's not really related to what I'm doing. And, I didn't take a lot of notes on that, to be honest. It's not something I'm doing. It's not something I'm going to be coaching on or, posting about on my social media, buying businesses. So I don't really focus too much on that. This guy was really good. So I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, but Thatch Nugent, I think that's how we say it. This guy was amazing. So this was probably my, outside of Ryan, this guy was my favorite speaker. I mean, this guy brought the energy. When he came out, the crowd was standing up, they were cheering, and he was cussing too, which is kind of crazy because I don't really follow this guy a lot, but I don't think I've heard him cuss on social media. So he was like cussing. He's like, I don't want to cuss on here. I don't know if it like will put my video like way over there, but and cut me out. But he was like, make some noise and stuff like that. So this guy was awesome. One of my takeaways from him, and this is something you can do as well, was he has core values. And this is another person that talked about core values. So Gary Harper and Javi, the CEO at Wealthy, was talking about core values like for your company, but you also have to have personal core values. And I feel like I do have personal core values, but I don't have them written down. Once again, it's like the goal setting. Everyone says, oh yeah, I got goals. You have to write them down and define them, right? So I've already done that. They're in here. I'm not going to share you all my core values, but let me see if I can pull them up. So my first core value, number one, is respect. Okay? I'm going to give you respect, but I also expect respect in return. And I expect respect when it comes to my team. If you can't respect me, I don't want you nowhere near me. And if you can't respect the people in my team or my family, I don't want you nowhere near them as well. That's my number one core value. And I'll give you another one. No excuses. That's one of my other core values. I can't stand people who have excuses. Everyone is dealt a different deck of cards in life, right? You might say, oh, well, that's easy for that guy because his parents were rich. Or it's easy for that guy because he just has his genetics, so he's all buff. It's easy for that guy. It could be, right? But what about the people who came from nothing? What about the people who, like myself? I'm self-educated, right? I'm not a big real estate investor, but I'm self-educated. I'm doing it on my own. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm going out there and meeting people. I'm going to conferences, and I'm growing. So my big thing is no excuses. Okay, so those are a couple of my core values that I'm actually writing down directly because of this event. And Thatch he actually gave away his core values. I'll give you a couple of them: abundance, contribution, freedom, and one of the ones I like, and actually, oh no, I don't have that one, but I like this one. One of Thatch's core values is simplicity. He wants to keep things simple. And that's what I like to do in life, or with my company when I'm doing my sales training, or whatever the case may be. Like, I like to keep it simple. you know I want to make it easy. Simpler it is, the better, right? And it's easier for everybody anyway. So that's one of the takeaways I had from Thatch, was to create your core values. And it's crazy because, and I was telling this to my dad, Thatch, it seems like his following is so big. The impact he has on people is so great, right? But he's not even one of the biggest real estate investors. He said he has like 250 properties. I mean, that's a good portfolio, right? But compared to all these other guys like Cardone and some of these other guys online, it's not that much. But he has an incredible impact on people, including myself. I'd rather follow Thatch than some of these other guys with thousands of units, right? So that's something else that stood out too. You don't have to be this huge, have this huge company to make an impact on people. So Thatch was my favorite speaker. And then Tebow spoke as well. It's the last speaker I'll go over, but Tebow spoke as well. He had more of like a preachy approach, and he was really good as well. That guy's huge. But my takeaway from him was a couple of things. He talked about, and I can relate to this because I played football in high school. He talked about having a game day focus. You have the team is, extra focused when it's a national championship, but when it's just a regular game, whatever, right? Same thing when I was playing football. If it was a meaningful game, everyone's pumped up, everyone's ready to go, right? But when it was like the first game of the season, or maybe when it was just a scrimmage game, just because it's not a meaningful game doesn't mean you don't go in there with the same focus. You know what I mean? So I could relate to that. So we talked about living every day with a game day focus, and then finding a way to inspire yourself. So his example was he found a way to inspire himself by walking in an empty stadium with the lights on, just walking in, looking around, just inspiring himself. And that's actually something I do as well. I find ways to inspire myself, but those are the two takeaways I have from Tebow. So overall, I really enjoyed the event. Like I said, there was a community aspect to it. Speakers were great. Those were my takeaways. Hopefully, oh, you know what? Hold on a second. I want to go after. I got one more person. I can't skip this one. Where's he at? This guy was. I think this guy may give the most value. So this guy's name is Brian Mark. He's a fitness coach. Hold on a second. Here he is. Man, this guy gave, in my opinion, the most like step-by-step value. So Brian Mark is a fitness coach. He's on Instagram, and he's also a social media expert. And he was helping us to grow our brands. Or I'm sorry, to optimize our Instagram. So one of the first things he said was your profile pic. And I've already done this. If you go on my Instagram, my profile pic is what he said. I'm listening, right? He said, and let me go to, he was going so fast and he had so much information, I had to take a picture of the slides. Hang on a second. I was going over Brian Mark's notes and I was putting them in my computer, in my notes in my computer, transferring them from here. It took me like 2-3 hours to do that. He had so much information. So we talked about your profile pic, and if you want to do this with your Instagram, you can do it. So profile pic must-haves. Post a close-up shot of your face or your body. So, if you're a fitness person or if you're a model, you want to show your body, show a close-up of your body where you can clearly see your physique or your expression. So what I did was I took a picture of me smiling and I just put a close-up pic of it. And then to remove the background of your picture, go to remove.bg to remove the background of your photo so it's just you. So I took a picture of me. I was at a concert and I cropped it out so it's just my face, and then I took the background out, so it would just be like my head, right? And then on top of that, this was really interesting. I've never heard of this. He said to use a background color in your profile picture. So if you go to my profile picture, the background's yellow. He said that black, blue, yellow, purple are colors that build trust. That's what he said. So we're going with it. He's the expert, right? So I went to his page and his background's blue. And I noticed a couple other people, they had their backgrounds as blue. I kind of wanted something different and a little more like, for lack of a better term, a little more like bold and tough looking. I'm not saying blue is soft, but I kind of wanted something more like, you know, more bold. So I chose yellow. It's like a goldish yellow. So if you go to my page, you can see my close-up picture. I'm smiling, and the background is yellow. But yeah, do that. So close-up picture for your profile picture, smiling, and then go to remove.bg, crop your photo out, and then to get the background color, I mean, yeah, you can go to Photoshop, but an easier way is what I did and what he said to do is go on your story, go to create, all right, and then make a color background, and then you can add a photo to that background. So just add the cropped out photo to that background. So go to your story, go to create, make a color background, choose between black, blue, yellow, or purple. Those are the colors that build trust, and then add your picture on top of it. And then you can just hit save. You don't have to post it. Just hit save, and then you can upload that to your profile picture, zoom in, and everything like that. So that's a direct thing you can do. I did it already. And I actually do think my profile picture looks better. It kind of looks official if you look at it. I don't know. Give me your feedback. Also, he talked about Instagram usernames. Some of this stuff is a little bit more straightforward. Make an Instagram username that's easy to remember. All right. So in his example, his Instagram username is the real Brian Mark. And then some people have like a super long name, or the name just like hurts your eyes. If I'm looking at Instagram and your Instagram username hurts my eyes, that's not good. And actually, this guy's the expert, but the real Brian Mark is like borderline too long, but it's not bad. So make a Instagram username that's easy to remember and easy on the eyes. And this is one that maybe a lot of people don't know is your display name on Instagram. You have to make it optimized for SEO, for search engine optimization. So for example, you have your username, right? Your @ username, but also you have the display name. So let's just say, Brian Mark, right? I don't know what his tagline is, but just for argument's sake, you got the @ the real Brian Mark, and then display name. Let's just say it says Brian Mark, and then dash. He does have it here. Business coach for online coaches. That's his tagline after his name and the display name. The reason that's important is because that's what people are searching on Instagram. So for example, if you're a real estate agent in Houston, Texas, for example, it'll be John Smith and the display name. And then after that, you can put Houston, Texas real estate agent. So if someone's on Instagram and they're searching for a real estate agent in Houston, you can pop up. So that's a good one that you can do. And he talks about the tagline of who you help. Who are you helping? What are you doing? So an example here is, I help men 35 plus get absolutely shredded in 90 days or less with my 30 minutes to fit blueprint. Right? Tagline of who you help. All right. Speaking to your audience. All right. So, and there's a lot of other things here. He talks about reels. Instagram reels are king. Uh, I'll just read this part here. Unless you're posting Instagram reels, you are 100%. Unless you're posting Instagram reels, you are 100% going to be left behind. I think I'm reading that wrong. But anyways, you have to post Instagram reels. They are the single greatest way to grow on Instagram. Instagram reels. And I have noticed that when I post Instagram reels, they get like a lot of views, more than my posts and everything like that. So make sure you're posting Instagram reels. And then he talks about building a blueprint, which I've actually already done that. I spent a few hours and I built my Instagram blueprint. I'm not going to give you my blueprint, but I built a blueprint for Instagram, how many times I'm going to post, what kind of post, and everything like that. So I still have to do my YouTube one, but I did do one for Instagram. And that's another thing too, is like I heard a couple of these people, they talked about having a blueprint, right? And that's something I haven't had. Just have something in my head. I'm like, let's go. And if you think about it, when someone's like building a house, right? You don't just go and show up and be like, all right, so what are we going to do today? No, you have a blueprint. So that's something else I heard a lot too, is having a blueprint. So overall, this event was, it was jam-packed with value. I thought hopefully you're getting something out of this, from the takeaways from the notes I'm giving you, and hopefully that'll help you as well. So like I said, the reason I went was because I was curious. I wanted to see if I can, um, if it would actually impact my business, or maybe if I was doing some things right or if I was doing some things wrong. And was it worth it? Absolutely, it was worth it. I would say it was worth it. I would go again, honestly. Just for the community aspect alone, it was worth it. So I liked it. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. I'm already making changes in my business. Like I said, I'm already changing my Instagram. I created an Instagram blueprint. I'm already creating my personal core values. I'm gonna create my business, my company core values. All these different things that I'm doing right now. I'm on this YouTube video, right? I'm getting my personal brand going. So I am making changes. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get my money's worth. So overall, it was great. It was worth it. And who knows? Maybe I'll go back again. But this is something I'll probably be doing more in the future. Not just conferences that are paid. I'll probably go to some free stuff, because I know here locally there's a bunch of free events and meetups and all that. So it's something I'm looking forward to doing. So that's it. Hopefully you got something from this, that you can use in your business. Hopefully you got some value. But my goal is to educate, inspire, and motivate you to reach your goals. Follow me. I got all the social media platforms. I got X, Instagram. I'm on TikTok now. And make sure you like and subscribe on this YouTube channel. I'm just getting started, but you want to be a part of the beginning. Here we go. All right. Wish you nothing but luck in 2024. Let's go get it.